Okay, so here we go. We have to be very careful with this. As you can see straight off, quite a lot of variation in styles. Now, here's one that's really caught my eye, just because of the colours on it. I've got some other Cara walnut there, but I don't think I have anything as spectacular as that. So this is one of the exciting days here at Emerald, whenever we get a new supply of veneer coming in. So if you don't know what Emerald guitars do, we build carbon fibre guitars, and very often on the top surface we'll use really highly figured wood veneers, just to give a really unique and interesting look. So all the structure and the tonal properties is coming from the carbon fibre, so the veneer is really just there for visual presence. And we can create some really spectacular visuals on the top of our acoustic guitars, which has become really our signature thing. So much so that almost 60 or maybe I think maybe up to 70% now of all our guitars end up with one of these beautiful veneers on top. I've got one here with a really nice redwood burl on top, and I'm going to show you these veneers, and maybe afterwards I'll talk about this guitar and we'll talk a little bit about the technology that we use here. So I always like to experience these in front of the camera and let you guys see just how cool these are whenever we see them for the first time. I purchased these with our veneer suppliers around the world. They send me pictures and we try and see what will fit for different purposes. But it's only whenever you have it in person that you really get to see it properly. So let's see. So this should be, I think mostly redwood burl in here. And oh wow, all right. So, so we've got various different types of redwood burl and some quilted redwood burl, which I've actually never had before. Redwood burl, like is on this other guitar just right here, is it's got really nice markings, and I like to find stuff that's got interesting patterns and details, and yeah, it's something we've really been enjoying working with. So I'm just going to set these all out here and then we can have a look at them individual. Okay, very cool. So as you can see straight off, quite a lot of variation in styles. So from a more sort of even pattern on this burl to this. It's got these amazing swirls on it. This has got all the contrasty stuff. This has got this really stunning flame pattern, and this one's got some really interesting patterns here with the different knots and stuff going on. So what we do here is we'll take these, and these are quite narrow pieces, so we have to book match them. So if we start to look at what we can achieve once we start to book match these, so that's when you get these amazing patterns. Let's see if we move it over here. So whenever we put the two pieces together, this gives us this really nice mirror image, and that's what gives us this really interesting pattern. So you can see that one, really cool image, and you start to get these shapes that start to appear in the centers, really like a kaleidoscope. And if we start to go through maybe a few different ones here. And what's fun with these is you can go so many different ways. So here this with an X20 template over it. See, this is really cool because you've got this very interesting flame character going on down at the bottom, and then in a gradient running up into the more detailed burl up at the top. Just about fits on an X20. Yep, fits perfectly on an X20. That's a really cool one. Now, here's one that's really caught my eye, just because of the colours on it. So it's got these really dark browns, it's got black lines through it, and then it's got these lighter golden parts. I think it's the combination of colours that just make this really stand out. So this one's a little bit narrower, and actually that's a pity. That is just slightly too narrow. Slightly, might just about be able to work for a Virtuo for an X10. Certainly will work for an X7, but this is the problem. Sometimes nature has just made something that's a little bit too narrow, but really, really cool. And this one is a little bit wider. Now look at this, look at the patterns on this stuff. So let's go right into the middle here. So yeah, this is the sort of stuff that really catches my eye, and I know you guys love this sort of thing. So I like to find something that kind of works with the shape of a guitar, you know, so you can see how this is fanning out in the bottom as the guitar gets wider. This pattern's fanning out, framed very nicely here to the neck. This will work good on an X10. Should be wide enough for an X20 as well, but really, really interesting. And then you can go a different way around like this, get something entirely different. And indeed we can go entirely the opposite way. Wow, look, we've got a Christmas tree right in the middle of this one. Let me turn this around for you. Wow, look at that. Just love this, this sort of tree pattern running up here into the center. Obviously, you always have to remember that there's going to be a bridge going here as well, so it is going to break up that pattern. But yeah, that has a lot of character to it. That in the center, this nice detail up here around the neck, just frames beautifully. So then we've got some of the quilted redwood burl, and I don't know if you can see, maybe if we get in close on it and move back and forward, you kind of see how this moves with the light. And that's the cool thing with quilting, is as you move with the light, it almost it gives you that holographic type effect. It doesn't look like it's flat. It's got a lot of depth and character to it. So if we were to use it this way around, we've got just all this quilting pattern, and it's probably hard to even imagine just how good that's going to look whenever it's clear coated, but that's going to look really vibrant. Also really nice if we go this way around. So we've got the burl down the center and then run into the quilts out the side. So that's the great thing about this, it gives us so many different choices of how we can use it. Make sure I don't mix these up. Right, and this one. So this has a lot of character going on as well. We've got burl, we've got some quilting, we've got some contrasting going on, some really interesting patterns, and it's quite wide, so it not wide enough for a guitar by itself, but plenty wide, just about long enough for an X20. If we were using it for an X20, we'll have to lose a tiny little bit here at the top, but whenever we put our black fade on the guitar anyway, that'll disappear, so that actually works for an X20. So yeah, fantastic character down the middles, all this detail, really interesting down here, a lot of different colors. There's grays, there's browns, there's light browns, and we can go the opposite direction on that one too. And that gives us that cool pattern. So yeah, really, really fun to work with, and it's going to give us a lot of options on our website. So all these are going to be photographed and then individually put up on our website, where you can choose the specific veneer and see it on our 3D builder, which is a lot of fun. So it gives you a lot of time to just be creative and build something that's very individual for yourself. So let's have a look at this. Again, just a little bit too narrow to use as a one piece. Okay, so yes, this is quite a lot darker, richer kind of color, more vibrant, and very defined burls here. Section here in the center is quite dark and almost black, and I don't know if that comes across well. What's interesting as well with something like this, because it's wider, we have options to put the book match like here and various different places. So I'm sure we'll cut it where we book match this section and mirror this detail, which will be quite interesting. Yeah, so there's just a lot of different places that we can cut that. So that's it, that's the redwood burl. I think that's, actually I wonder, is there anything else in the bottom? Hold on. So I think there should be Clara walnut somewhere here. Oh, yep. Almost missed this batch. Right, let's have a look here. Okay, so we've got these couple other pieces that are hiding on the bottom, and I don't think they had very much of this. I think there's only a couple of sheets of Clara walnut. I wish there was more, because look at how amazing this is. I've got some other Clara walnut there, but I don't think I have anything as spectacular as that. This is amazing, and this is what I really look for. I'm looking always for stuff with unique figure, unique designs, and you know, really it's nature's art. Nature creating these amazing patterns, and we get to use them on guitars. That just fits perfectly into the shape of the body of a guitar, and that's exactly why I had it. I wish I had 10 more pieces like it. So there's only one. Somebody's going to be lucky. You could cut it like that, which is equally cool. No, it's not equally cool. It's cool, but it's, I think, 100% that's the way this is going to be book matched, because that is spectacular. Nice one. Okay, let's see what else we've got. We've got some more redwood burl. Another nice piece. So these have been pieces where they only maybe had 2 sheets, so we can only do 1 book match. That's a nice one of the quilted, and it's got some holes up in here, but we can, you know, what we can sometimes do with those is you actually leave the carbon showing through, so it becomes part of the character of it as well. Another nice piece here. Wow, this one actually, some really nice detail in it. Be very careful of these. They're so thin, they really are paper thin, and they can crack so easily. But yeah, that's a really nice piece. Let's turn it around so you get a better look. So that'll look very interesting. So what I like to try and do, depending on the guitar that's going on, if it's going like in something like a virtuo, where you're maybe having the bridge pickup here and the other pickup, if you can kind of balance it, that everything fits in between, you can get interesting patterns going between it. This one actually looks really cool this way too. Just amazing patterns in this batch of veneer. And make sure that you stay in their pairs. A couple more pieces. All right, so this is similar to some of the other that I currently have in stock. The stuff that's got these amazing veins. You know, it's like Freddy Krueger's face or something. Yeah, look at that. So we've got some of this here as well. I love how it's like it just comes in a gradient and just gets bigger and bigger. So it's really fine here. The darker color going to the lighter, and the pattern just getting bigger as it goes down. So it just perfectly matches the shape of a guitar. Really works well. Another couple of pieces of Clara walnut. Oh my goodness. It just keeps getting better. Right, so we've got all the colors contrasting here. We've got blacks, there's purples that I can pick up on here, there's greens, browns, greys. But this is like a flame detail that's running here. But it's the way it's coming in this circular pattern. The flame's kind of coming, it's like it all is originating here. It's coming out in these radial lines, and then it starts to go back here and this way. I've never seen anything like that ever before. I mean, that is a piece there that, yes, you can put it on a guitar, but you could just as easily frame that and put it on a wall. Or you make a guitar and you put the guitar on the wall when you're not playing it. That's spectacular. Now let me see. Would it? No, it's too short for an X30, so it's just big enough for an X20. So yeah, X20 would be the body that you'd want to put that on. You want to show as much as possible of that veneer. And there's almost enough for us to get a second piece out, because we can cut it the other way and we can fit a second piece cut into here. It's not going to get quite as spectacular as that, but that's really, really special. So I think that's the star in this set. But you might think differently. You'll probably see something else and you'll be like, no, that's the one. And that's the cool thing about this. With the veneers, we can make every guitar individualized, you know, and it's carbon fiber is a very uniform material, and it's beautiful in its own right. But whenever you use it in conjunction with the natural beauty of wood, that's when you get something that's really special. And you know, it means that every guitar that we build then is unique. It's got its own unique signature, and it's made just for you. Another one really cool with the pattern, and yeah, really, really nice, big, vibrant pattern. Let's have a look at this one going the other way. Wow, that gives us something entirely different when we go this way. So a couple of cracks here, so we would have to cut that out. So you could imagine these lines coming a little bit closer in, which would be equally cool. So yeah, we could go both ways on that. Right, so that is the redwood burl. I think that's the best selection of redwood burl that I've ever had. And but we've also got some really nice quilted maple and fiddleback maple that we'll have a look at now as well. Okay, so inside here we have a roll of fiddleback maple, and it's really cool because it's so thin that they're able to take and roll it up into a roll like this. So this is fiddleback maple, or what some people would call flame maple. And we use a lot of quilted maple here, but we've also used some flame maple in the past. And it's got a little bit of subtler detail than some of the quilting pattern that we have, but really works nice if you work with colors, or nice vintage amber stains work beautifully over flame maple. And it gives a little bit more of a, I guess, a kind of a more vintage look. And we have some currently in stock, but I was looking for some that had a little bit, just a higher contrasting pattern on it. And the stuff that we currently have in stock is great in that it's wide enough for one big piece, but it's quite a big pattern. So sometimes you want a really fine flame pattern, and it just gives you a little bit more contrast and detail in it. So this one is, obviously we'll be book matching it, and tends to be the narrower sheets have the tighter pattern, but you can see there just how beautiful the pattern is and just how flawless the color is. And that's what really works really great for us, is if we get really light colored wood, we get high intensity of color whenever we stain this. So you know, an amber over this will just really make a beautiful poppy golden color. Or even the greens and reds and all the colors that we've done. So you can see it's even right the way across its whole length. So that's going to be great. And I guess with this, you know, you don't have a big pattern to imagine or to see, but you have to imagine what it's going to look like finished. But yeah, if you're a fan of flame maple, fiddleback maple, then that's going to work well. This one has a slightly different character. So that's very light, very even. This one's got a little bit more detail going on in it, and this can be quite interesting as well. So we just set this together like this to see the book match. So as you can see, it's got a little bit more of a golden color. So there's some contrast in the colors. It's more golden towards the edge. The flame is a little bit less even, which adds character and can be a benefit or a negative depending on what your visual is that you're looking for. So you can see how that nicely runs in there. You have a more defined book match. We have some here with some knots in it that can make a very interesting piece. Or if we go up here to this top end, there's a detail that I see where it's like it's got the narrower pattern, and then it goes into a big wide quilt here and then back to narrower. So it's a sort of distinct detail that just gives it, you know, something a little bit more than a standard piece. And it also works really well other way around, as I see some other nice detail, like this piece catches my eye here. So just got that really nice even quilting, and then just one little character down here that just makes it stand out. So that's the sort of stuff we like to find. So the other roll has quilted maple in it, and it'll be a good opportunity actually to see just the variation between the two, between a quilted and a flame maple. Okay, so here we go. We have to be very careful with this, and oh, it's like a Russian doll. There's another one in the middle. This is like unwrapping Christmas presents. It's almost better than Christmas Day, especially when you get to see stuff that is just so nice. It's really, really hard to find good quilted maple. See, it'll take a little bit of time to flatten out itself. We'll just have to work with it. So let me see what we have here. I can't remember the width of this. But yeah, it's a little bit. I think it'll just about work for a X10. So we're constrained on width, but it just about gets there. But this stuff is this huge, big, deep quilting going on in it, and as you can see, it's like the ocean. Amazing pattern, and what we look for is nice evenness of color and a beautiful pattern that really catches the light, and that's got a huge amount of movement in it. It's narrower up that end, and then a wider quilting going on down here. So that is amazing quality of quilted maple. That is just about as good as it gets. So whenever we put a colour on here, like our nice vintage amber burst, or the reds, or blue is a colour that I love, that really will have a huge intensity. We'll make some amazing guitars with this. If we look at the other section here, it's got the same thing going on. It's a little bit wider, so it's going to be wide enough for us to do an X30, which is really cool. And same thing, really big detail in it. And now here's an interesting one with quilted maple. There's two different ways around that it can be. We talk about valleys or mountains. So here we've got, it's like an undulating hill that runs into a valley, and I don't know if you can pick it up on the camera, but that's what I see when I look at it. It's got these rolling pillows and a sharp valley going in the ways. If we look at it the other way around, wow, this one's actually messing with my head because it's kind of doing the same thing on the other side. Sometimes you see it then looking like it's coming up into mountains. I'm going to look at that again. Yeah, this one is a totally different character. It's really is. It's like undulating pillows, and it looks the same on both sides. And that side's even more intense. It's very holographic, huge movement. It just really rolls. And we do slightly different with our veneers. So a lot of people that are working with quilted maple, they'll stain it and they'll sand it and they get a lot of contrast of color, and that's just how the stains penetrate into the wood. Whereas what I do is I always use transparent colors, and I really like to do that because it doesn't really inhibit the movement of the light. And so on our guitars, in our quilted maple guitars, you'll really see a lot of movement, a lot of intensity of movement in them, and you really see that on that one. That's quite a special piece of quilting going on there. And as I look at it differently, wow, that's actually messing with my eyes, because under this angle, I'm seeing it as the rolling hills, and now I've just changed the angle slightly and I can see it looking like the sharp peaks. So when I'm looking at it now, I'm seeing the rolling hills, and now that I've gone to this angle, I see it going down into peaks. Totally crazy, totally mind-bending stuff, and that's why we love quilted maple. So we've got enough quilted maple here to do, I'm sure, about 40 guitars. And just to let you into a secret, this is the first quilted maple I've been able to buy in the last 2.5 years, and that's how hard it is to get good quilted maple. So if you see some of this and you really like it, then I would say you're probably best to reserve some of it, because when it's gone, it is definitely gone. So I'm always in the hunt for high quality quilted maple, and there's a lot on the market, but not a lot of this quality. It is really, really rare to find stuff that's as amazing in detail as this. So that's it. That's this batch of veneer. I do have another cool one that's coming in very soon, and I'll look forward to sharing that with you. But I did say at the start that I'll tell you a little bit more about our technology. So I'm going to have a little look here at an X30, and this is an X30 with redwood burl. So what I should do is get a piece of redwood burl veneer. So this is a piece of redwood burl that would have went on a guitar like this. And as you can see, the colors change quite a bit, but the pattern obviously stays the same. So you always have to be open-minded about the colors and how they might change. And this is a dry veneer, but whenever you wet the surface, that's whenever the color becomes more vibrant and you get the more intensity going on with it. So what we do is we're building guitars with carbon fiber. So we use a special resin infusion process where under vacuum we inject resin into a mold, and that resin, it permeates through all our carbon fibers, and we've got multiple layers of carbon fiber in different areas that create different structures and different tonal characteristics, and we actually put the veneer into the mold during that process. So under vacuum we have the resin permeating through the mold, and it's heated and it's made into a very thin resin, and it also can penetrate right through all the pores in the veneer. And that's what's really cool about our process, because you get all the strength and the characteristics of carbon fiber, but you get all the beauty of the wood. And the wood becomes stabilized because the resin has fused into all the pores, and it then becomes part unified to the carbon fiber. So it's a really, really great structure. It's a great way for us to build a guitar that has got a very unique character, and I know you guys are loving it because you're buying so many of them. We love the fact that it's Every guitar is specific and unique to you, and I know that's what you like. So please have a go on our 3D builder. Go to our website and have a look at all the different veneers that you can see there. Choose a guitar, choose a veneer that you like, and build your dream emerald. So thanks for watching, and we'll be back with another veneer unveiling hopefully very soon.